guys, April here.
Jason here.
We're with April and Jason Photography from the Dallas area. We've photographed about over 100 weddings now, and so we're taking all those experiences and we are providing free content for you to learn from us and our mistakes.
You can't lose unless we do it all wrong. But we didn't.
No, we did some things right.
So today, though, we're going to be talking about how to, well, basically 5 secrets to breaking into the luxury wedding market, because we know that most people, that's their goal. They don't want to be doing the barns all the time.
It was
Sometimes
our goal.
it'd be nice to break into the luxury wedding market. Also, typically you make more money with those weddings.
Yes.
So before we get into those 5 tips, we would like to maybe pause, subscribe, like, and then also, if you scroll to the bottom, there's some free content for you.
Yeah, we have a free webinar coming up that's going to actually talk about these same things, going from 0 to 10K per month, kind of how we did it, and advice for you how to do it in the future.
Awesome. So if you don't mind doing that, we'd appreciate it, and then we look forward to seeing you in a minute. All right, y'all, so for today's topic, we're going into basically how to break into the luxury wedding market. We're giving you 5 tips. So the reason we specifically, that was kind of our goal to do, was because
Red barns.
Red barns are a bummer. So basically, the places that you shoot, like, it's funny, if you're a great photographer, or just a good photographer in general, it is actually easier to get good pictures at a nicer place. So, or even if the people are dressed nicer, like, there are things that just make it easier for you. And we're going to talk about some of those things today, but for sure that was one of the reasons we wanted to break into that market.
It elevates your brand.
It does.
Yeah.
So, and another thing is too, what you're going to deal with sometimes with budget brides is getting ghosted. And you'll deal with that with luxury brides too.
Yeah.
But more so with budget brides, because you send them your pricing guide and then they're like, oh, I can't afford that. Goodbye. And they don't talk to you ever again. So that's a bummer.
A lot.
Getting more consistent leads is awesome as well. And then building some trust. And this all ties into building trust.
Yes.
And that's one of the main reasons that you can break into the luxury wedding market, because they see a luxury bride will say, oh, well, here are luxury pictures, luxury things, and so I trust them, so I want to use them for our wedding. So how do you get those luxury things incorporated into your experience as well as your marketing? So we're going to talk about that right now. So the first thing you can do is you want to really make sure that you're attracting your ideal bride, just because you can break into the luxury market and still get, a plethora of different personality types, which is fine. But for us, we really wanted to make sure that it was a good fit, because we take better pictures when it's people that we like working with, as opposed to someone who maybe just doesn't jive with us like we're jiving with them. So the way to do that is your marketing, in that the way you word things on your Facebook post, what you're posting on Facebook, does it relate to you? Or it doesn't have to relate to you, but it definitely has to relate to someone that you like or want to work with.
Yeah, and for us, really, we just kind of started thinking about our past clients. Like, who did we really love serving? And we're not picky about our clients. A lot of most all of our clients are exceptional. Like, we love our clients.
Yes.
But if we could pinpoint one person that we would do their wedding over and over and over again, because we had such a great experience with them, and they didn't haggle with us.
No,
They paid everything, and they even asked for more to add on, and they genuinely were easy to work with. That's the kind of person we want to speak to in every single post, every blog. We're talking to that specific person. So,
and so you're like, well, how do you talk to those people? One, obviously, it's the verbiage, the way you talk on your with your posts. And for example, there we have a friend who's a professional photographer, phenomenal photographer, and she says, I'm a photographer for the adventurous and the people that love to get
in the lake.
And get
their
messy.
Hair messy. Yeah.
And so and that's her verbiage on her website.
She's attractive.
And she's trying to attract those kinds of people. We don't necessarily not that that's a problem with us. I don't mind jumping in the lake. It's awesome. But we don't necessarily advertise that way. But we might do something like, primarily, you're getting a lot of smiles and happiness, because we're very people-centered photographers, and we're very happy, joyful. And that's really what we go for, is a joyful bride. And that's why we say, luxury photographers for joyful brides. I think that's on our website.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to attract models, for example, someone that they're not smiling as much, it's more of a Vogue look, you know, cosmopolitan. that would be what you're, then make sure that whenever you're posing people, hey, get some shots that way that are really Vogue, GQ, and then post those on your Instagram.
And maybe it's somebody that you have never even worked with before, and you're like, you know what, I would just like to work with them. Or I've seen somebody else work with a bride like this because I've second shot for this person. And just think of that person and think of like, how do they speak, you know, or how, who do they hang out with, where do they shop, and just start thinking about those things when you're posting.
Yeah, and then know that, by the way, when you're posting, sometimes the personal posts that you're doing can be like, hey, I'm shopping at Target today, because you know that your brides are shopping at Target, or brides to be. So things like that. Another thing, so step number 2 is it's all in the details.
Yes.
Details make a huge difference on Instagram.
Especially in luxury settings. Like, I feel like a lot of the luxury photographers I follow, it's just like detail, like flowers and like tables, and all I see is a lot of luxury.
And so if you're seeing luxury things, like you can do one of two things. If it's a wedding that doesn't have a lot of luxurious stuff, do your best to grab as many details, make them look pretty as you can.
Yep.
Also, if you are at a wedding that has luxurious stuff, then definitely make sure to get as many great pictures of those details as you can. Jimmy Choo shoes are somewhat expensive, or high heels. I guess they're not shoes, but
yeah.
And then the ones with the red bottoms, Louis Vuitton, a very expensive shoe. So things like Rolexes, perfume bottles, the rings, all of those things, if you know your brands, and we don't know a ton of name brands, but there are some that we recognize, and we're like, that's a name brand, that's an expensive brand.
We make sure we put that on the website.
And a really good picture of that, put it on the website.
Yeah.
Also, when you're on your Instagram feed, try and incorporate maybe once every 3 pictures a detail shot. That was one thing that we weren't doing back in the day, but it really helps put a luxurious vibe to your Instagram that you may not have had before, and it really does look good. So that's number 2. And then step number 3 is styled shoots. Styled shoots, some photographers will be like, well, that's cheating, and it's not. It's just good business. We have landed weddings specifically because a bride was like, your pictures on your website look like a dream.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. And you can tell them, yeah, well, you know what, honestly, that was a model, and I was photographing a model. You don't have to call it a style shoot. But yeah, I was photographing a model in that picture, and it was so much fun and amazing. And they're like, dude, this person also photographs models.
Yeah.
So what is a style shoot? If you don't know what that is, it is basically a venue typically will put it together because they want to drive traffic to their venue. So they'll do it for free typically. The venue lets people come in for free, but whoever puts it together charges you. Style Shoots of America does a phenomenal job.
Yes,
so look
go
at
check
them
out.
But they're gonna get your color, all the colors for the shoot together. So like it's gonna be like they'll give you a palette showing you all the colors that are gonna be there. Here's the theme for the shoot. Here's the models. We're gonna allow 8 photographers per session to take pictures, and then you all take turns in tangent.
You rotate.
And it is very busy, but that being said, it is all, they've put a luxury wedding together for you. They've got a lot of the times the brand name shoes, the brand name necklace, all of that stuff, and the models. So then, a lot of times it might be like $400 or $500. But if you're sitting there trying to go like, when am I going to shoot at the Olana, which is my coveted venue? When am I going to be able to get this bride or this groom? Well, it helps if you already have that on your feed because of the fact that they need to see that. That bride and that groom that you're trying to get, they want to see it. That's where the developed trust comes in. So once you've shot that from the style shoot, and put that on your website and your Instagram. Now, be careful not to put too many of those on your website and Instagram because 2 things. One, you're going to get a lot of model shots, which you might want. But the other thing is, we talked to a planner one time. She actually was awesome, but she's very, very in your face. And I said,
if you're watching this, we love you.
Hey, check out our website and tell us what you think. And she's like, oh, well, I wouldn't use you. I wouldn't use you as a photographer. And I was like, wait, what? And this, by the way, this planner makes over $400,000 a year planning weddings. And I was like, why wouldn't you use us? And she's like, those are all style shoots. And I was like, well, yeah, a lot of them are. And she's like, yeah, you need to get some of those style shoots off your website. So know
you want
that
to mix it all together and have a nice variety of real weddings mixed with styled shoots. Because honestly, for the luxury market, some of those brides don't even look at their own photographers. They just depend on the planner to choose the photographer. So you're really wanting to appeal to them.
Yeah, because the planner typically is going to do most of the work for them, and they might show, hey, here's some options that I'm giving you.
Yes.
So that is one thing that you want to be aware of as well.
Also, one other thing I want to add to that last one for style shoots, you want to go to style shoots too because you want to network with other vendors. Even if it's like, oh, I only met photographers today. Guess what? Those photographers probably live in your area. Maybe not. I don't know. But even if they don't, I've had friends that I met at style shoots reach out to me and be like, hey, I'm not available on this day and I'm not in Dallas or whatever. Here, do you want to reach out to this bride and groom? So you're really developing a community, and instead of competition, you're helping each other. So it's really nice to connect. And we've also learned from other photographers. They're like, hey, what do you do? Oh, we're on the knot. Oh, really? I would never use the knot because I heard this, that, and the other. No, actually, I'm on the front page and I've gotten so many clients from. So you're like, wait, what? Well, let me try that. So it really does help to see how other people work.
Yeah. I actually, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, actually,
that was a good stopping place.
No, but actually, at one style shoot, I met Julian Kibler. If you're watching, awesome, we love you. But and he is a phenomenal photographer. And I showed him the back of my screen, and he said like, "Oh, those are overexposed." And we shoot light and airy. So at the time, I was like, "Well, yeah, that's the way we shoot."
Yeah.
And at the time, it was, and we have changed our style of scotch. We still shoot light and airy, but he said, "Oh, well, you'll just never get back the sky." And I was like, "Huh, that's true." So I made sure to like turn down the exposure for a couple so that we could keep the sky, because if you shoot overexposed, the sky turns white or gray and you just don't see any clouds or any of that.
Yeah.
And then you can just finish it and edit it in post. So edit it while you're in Lightroom or whatever so that the sky stays, but you still get the rest looking like your normal picture.
Awesome. Okay, well, step number 4, we're going to go into exclusive packages. So once you have attracted the right client, what then? You want to have a system and something ready to go for that client that's reached out to you. You're like, oh my gosh, I have a luxury client. I want to make sure I book them. Well, you want to have a system in place. So we have a very nice looking pricing guide that I made in Canva. You actually can get it if you would like. I have a link below. If you want to check out ours and use our template, that's totally fine.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. But yeah, you want to make sure you have packages set up so it's really clear and really easy for a luxury bride to look through and be like, oh, cool, they offer albums. You're just answering a lot of questions that you don't have to go back and forth on. So having that pricing guide really does help. And then we also have a questionnaire that immediately goes out. It's an automated system that we have in HoneyBook that when a bride reaches out and fills out her inquiry form, we'll send them an email with not only that pricing guide, but with a questionnaire so that we can come back and say, hey, if for some reason these prices, because we're trying to attract luxury brides, but not everybody's luxury. So we still have that questionnaire to see kind of where people fall on the pricing guide. So we're gonna make a custom proposal for that client that's reaching out to us that may not be able to afford our higher prices, but we're still attracting both. So you don't wanna just, try to attract, you don't wanna alienate those clients that can't afford the high dollar prices yet. So the questionnaire comes in really nicely so that you can actually follow up with them and be like, hey, I noticed that you're not able to spend such and such dollars, but we would love to offer you this package specific to you, not assuming that you want this many hours or an engagement shoot or a bridal, session. So having it in place is still good, having that pricing guide in place, but also having the questionnaire to follow up and make sure that what you're attracting is those high dollar brides, or if you're attracting like a low dollar bride or a medium bride. It just kind of helps you gauge that. So.
It's true. And that whenever we do that, because we were on a budget when we got married.
Yes.
And so we do want, obviously, to be, it would be great if all of our weddings were luxury, high dollar,
$10,000
brides. But they're not. Yeah. And but a lot of them are, but they're not all.
Yeah.
And the reason they're not is, one, because we like to stay busy and we don't want to alienate the brides that are on a budget, because that was us. So we feel like we can still serve them too. And if we have the day free, then we're going to go ahead and shoot the wedding. And the one thing that we'll always do is tell them that, like, hey, we understand that you're on a budget. Yeah. We were on a budget too. And that's where the questionnaire comes in, because you'll get the budget and idea of what they want. And they'll always first try and take things out that makes the price go down. So as opposed to just giving a discount, we'll try and take things out, like April said, the engagement session, or
it gives us an opportunity to throw things back in. So if hey, my base price is this, and we'll be like, well, we're going to go ahead and give you an extra hour because we really just want to serve you as best as possible. Yeah. So that gives us an opportunity, once we see the questionnaire and what they've told us, to build off of that and then to throw an incentive in.
Yes. So either way, it's a great way to book more weddings and to serve more people.
Okay, our final step number 5, is to provide excellent client experience by using a style guide. So if you have a lot of couples coming in your door and you're not using a style guide, This is a huge tool that has helped us go from our pictures looking like, oh, that was a good picture, like we know how to shoot, to looking like exceptional, like really attracting our ideal client. And that's just by having them dress up.
So real quick, pain point. One thing that was a bummer at the beginning was when you see, oh, that's the bride and groom, like you'd stalk them on Facebook. Oh, that's the bride and groom, we're going to go shoot their engagement session.
Yeah.
Awesome, they're amazing, you know? And then you show up and the groom is in flip-flops and jeans and he's wearing a t-shirt and you're like, whoa, I like AC/DC too, but why'd you wear the Walmart version of that shirt to this shoot, man, you know?
Yeah.
So this helps a ton too because it automatically gets those better pictures.
Yeah, so you're basically, again, in Canva, it's a template that I have for you. If you guys want to download that as well, you can just plug and play it in mine. But it really just talks about different locations we're going to choose, why we are like the lighting experts, you know, why we shoot at sunset because we want it to look dreamy and creamy. And then also here's some ideas on outfits. We really ask our brides to get hair and makeup done. You're going to love your photos that much better. Go for the dresses, you know, so we really want to show them our expectation and what they're going to get as a result. So not only are they going to feel super taken care of and like, oh, now I know what to wear, but we're going to get pictures that sell for us.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like a color swatch in some regards in that, or a color swatch. Anyway. In that I would have never thought that like, hey, whenever she's wearing a white dress, maybe he should be wearing light colors. And if it's like a family, try and keep it neutrals and have them matching, but not matching. So there's a lot of, honestly, I still have to look at it to try and figure out what to wear every day. So there's a lot of stuff in there that's super helpful that I wouldn't have thought of before April came up with it. So.
Yeah, well, hope you guys learn from us and just ask us any questions. Feel free to follow us on Instagram and don't forget to register for the webinar next Wednesday, November 13th. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.